Hello and welcome to Hidden Video Game Details, the series that aims to show you the things that you may have missed in your favourite games. Oh, and quick subscriber count update. We now sit at 929,000 subscribers, meaning we are now just 71,000 subscribers away from 1 million. So if you haven't already, please help me out and subscribe. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Fortnite. Now, a big part of Fortnite's economy are emotes. Unlike other games, the emotes in Fortnite can see popular characters from movies, comics, and even other games perform the latest TikTok dance, which will never not be weird. Well, despite selling these emotes for real-world money, there is a location in the game that explicitly bans any form of emote. If you go to this location on the map and dance, this will happen.
I'm a savage. Yeah. Classy.
I mean, the sign did warn you not to dance, but if you're not a fan of following the rules, you'll be thrown to your death, which you have to admit is pretty funny. Now, I don't know about you, but I love it when real-world science or logic is applied in a game, especially when said game isn't realistic at all. Take Another Crab's Treasure for example, which sees you navigating the murky depths to find your stolen shell. Now, as you might imagine, finding anything down here is pretty hard, and that's why we've been given a handy compass that will guide you to your goal. Well, let's see what happens when our trusty compass is near a giant magnet. So, just like real life, the magnet will mess with the compass, making it useless. Like I said, I love it when games do things like this, so if you know of any other examples, please let me know in the comments. So since its release in December, I have been horribly addicted to Marvel Rivals. If I win a game, I want to continue my streak. If I lose a game, then I can't end on a loss. It's that kind of thinking that has kept me up way past my bedtime. I mean, I even uninstalled the game last week so I could actually get some work done. I'm a fully certified Marvel Rivals junkie. Luckily for me, there are a lot of cool things to find in Marvel Rivals that some of you may not know, and that means I can feature the game in a video, which means that I have an excuse to play it more. Now, a couple of characters in Marvel Rivals can throw themselves into the thick of the action with a simple press of a button. One such character is Thor, who can charge up Mjolnir before introducing the legendary hammer to the nearest face. Well, if you try to fly into battle, but bump heads with Winter Soldier, this will happen.
Playtime's over!
Only 60 seconds left!
Myself!
So not only does your epic charge get abruptly ended, but the sound of tweeting birds can also be heard. You know, to really hammer home that you've just bumped heads. Oh, and pun not intended. Interestingly, if Thor and Thor bump heads, the tweeting sound isn't heard. And I don't know why.
Release me!
Now, one of the best healers in the game is Mantis, who, if played correctly, can also dish out a fair amount of damage herself. If things get a little hairy, she can also put an enemy to sleep, allowing her to retreat to safety. But did you know that there is a way to wake up a sleeping teammate? When Mantis sleeps an ally, you can see a ghostly version of Mantis making sure that your buddy stays snoozing. Well, if you shoot the purple Mantis, this will happen. So shooting the ghostly Mantis will wake your ally up, allowing them to get back into the fight. I've played Marvel Rivals since launch, and I've only just discovered this. Now, given that there are so many characters in Marvel Rivals, there are plenty of interactions that comic book fans will love. I won't be covering them all here because that would take far too long. Instead, here are just a few of my favourites.
What is shark thing with feet? Ha! Hulk likes shark thing!
OMG, aren't you the cutest little thing ever? Get over here! You should totally join my squad. Wait, quick question. You don't eat squirrel, do you? Oh my, OMG, you are the cutest shark ever. Ah, look at those little feet. I know, sharks aren't supposed to have feet. And no, you can't eat Tippy Toe. She's my best friend.
I am Groot. We are Venom. I am Groot. We are suddenly considering a plant-based diet.
Oh, and I'm almost certainly going to be making a whole video on Marvel Rivals. Like I said, I need to find excuses to play it. So if you know anything that you think I might be interested in, let me know in the comments. So if any of you have heard of this next game, let alone played it, give yourself a big old pat on the crotch. Clive N Wrench is a 3D platformer that sees a rabbit and monkey travelling through time to stop the evil Dr. Dorcas. Now granted, Clive N Wrench isn't up there with the likes of Banjo-Kazooie or even Yooka-Laylee, but for anyone looking to get their platforming kicks, you could do a lot worse than Clive N Wrench. Now very early on in the game, you can find discarded sauce packets in a bedroom, and because I'm a curious chap, I wanted to see what happens if I jumped on one, and I wasn't disappointed. I mean, sauce squirts out of the packet when you jump on it. What's so special about that? Well, it's one of those details that just feels really satisfying to do. Next up, in the kitchen, you can find a box of honey Gyrios, which are apparently entirely unnatural. Well, if you check what makes Gyrios so unnatural, we can see that the ingredients start off normal enough, before we see a cry for help from someone working for the game's evil villain. They end their plea with a request to record Tim and Jerry, which is an obvious nod to Tom and Jerry. For anyone looking to find Easter eggs themselves, I recommend reading the small print of everything that you can find in-game. Trust me, you'll be surprised at how many hidden messages are hidden in plain sight. The final detail that I found in Clive N Wrench can be found in the bathroom. Instead of Head & Shoulders shampoo, we can instead find knees and toes. If this video reaches 10,000 likes, I promise I'll include a clip of myself dancing to Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes in a future video. So despite being super excited to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I haven't spent nearly enough time with the game. I mean, I fully blame Marvel Rivals for that, but what I have played, I have really enjoyed. I, like I'm assuming most people, was expecting an Uncharted-like experience, but what we actually got is far slower in pace, and more rewarding in its exploration. Take the game's first detail as an example. During the opening section, you might think that you have to follow the path that is clearly laid out in front of you, but if you instead explore, you can find this.
Oh. Needed a bath anyway. Alright, just a snake. Nothing more.
Okay, so there is nothing behind the waterfall. Well, apart from a snake. But even at this early stage, the game is showing you that exploring is something that you should be doing. The other detail from Golden Circle is really cool. So most games on the Xbox Series consoles make use of the quick resume feature. Some better than others. Well, if you actually close down the Golden Circle when you're finished playing, when you next boot the game back up, the game's menu will change to reflect where you are in the story. And if you choose to continue the game, you're immediately put right back in where you left off. Like I said, I know a lot of people use the quick resume feature, and might have missed this, but personally, I think it's really clever. Right, let's end today's video with MiSide. Now, there is a lot of cool things that you might not notice when playing this game, and that's probably why I will end up making a whole video on it at some point. But even in the game's relatively tame opening couple of chapters, there are cool details that some people may have missed. First up, when you start the game, you have to enter your name. Now, if you're like me, this is an open invitation to see what names the game will react to. And so far, I found a couple that it doesn't like. So if you name yourself this, then this will happen.
それはダメ。言葉が良くないし、その名前はあんまり好きじゃないな。かっこ悪いよ。とにかくこのままじゃダメだから、もう一度やり直そう。
Okay, so Mita doesn't like that. Well, what if we name ourselves Mita?
それはダメ。本当に私の名前を使うの？それとも実名？悪気はないんだけど、その名前は私だけにさせてね。とにかくこのままじゃダメだから、もう一度やり直そう。
Okay, she doesn't like that too. I've tried other swear words, but her response is the same each time. So if you know of any other unique name interactions, let me know in the comments. Now, early on in the game, you have to find 5 batteries, and one of those batteries happens to be in the fridge. Before opening the fridge door, the magnets on the fridge spell out "I love you," which is nice. However, after opening the fridge, those magnets fall to the floor. Now, you can pick these magnets back up and put them back on the fridge, but if you don't, the next time you go to the fridge, they will instead say this. I mean, when I first played this part, I didn't even notice that the magnets fell, so to say "you hate me" does feel a little bit harsh. The final detail from MiSide can be seen by doing nothing. If you wait for around 2 minutes, eventually this will happen.
あれは君のゲーム機？かっこいいね。
So not only will your character pull out their knockoff Game Boy, but Mita will even comment on it, which I think is really cool. So that's it. If you know of any cool things in games that you think I should check out, then please leave them down in the comments. Big or small, obvious or not obvious. If I think it's cool, I'll include it in a video and of course credit you like these people here. Remember, we are trying to reach 1 million subscribers, hopefully this year, so if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and helping me out. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.